We are live.
All right.
So we'll just wait a few minutes and then we'll get
Okay.
started. I think we have 2 minutes. Oh, somebody has joined.
Okay.
Uh, Good evening and thank you so much for joining our live session. Please let us know where you are joining from. Where are you joining the live session from? And may you also confirm if you can see both of us. Can you see both of us? Can you see the screen? Am I audible? Let me put in the comments. I don't know what's happening with my network. Is it my network
Yeah.
or your network? We're still, yeah, something is happening. I just hope we will not lose our network. Okay, it's 8:30. I'm going to start the live session. Please confirm in the comments if you can see both of us and also if I am audible. Also, let us know where you are joining from. We are doing the E4LIFE Fellowship interview, and I have a special guest here. I have my home girl from Botswana. I have Tato Majola. She's going to share with you her application journey, how she applied for the fellowship, how she got selected for the fellowship, and also how she has been settling in India. I'll not get into much details. She will share that with you. I have a couple of questions for her. I'm going to be asking her some questions, but if you also have some follow-up questions, just put them in the comments. I'll display them on the screen, and if she's able to address your question, then she will address them as the live session goes on, as the interview is on. I'm also going to share her presentation. She has prepared a presentation for you. I'm going to share the presentation. Please please confirm if you can see the presentation. Can you see both of us, and can you see her presentation? It would be good to get a confirmation. You can send a thumbs up in the chat, or you can send a yes, just something to confirm that you can see the presentation, you can see both of us, and also that I am audible before we get started. I'll just give you a minute to confirm. Okay, we have Bridget. Yes. Thank you so much, Bridget, for the confirmation. We have Sabatana. Thank you for joining, Sabatana. He's watching from Lesotho, and yes, I am audible, and he can see us. Thank you for the confirmation. I recently had an interview with Sabatana. He was sharing about his journey on the ICCR scholarship. He was doing his master's in India, by the way, Tato. And
Oh, that's great.
yeah, he
I hope
recently,
you apply for the E4LIFE Fellowship,
yeah,
Savatana.
I hope he can apply. He recently completed his master's, and then I invited him to share his experience. Then I told him about the fellowship. I also invited him to join the interview. I'm happy to see that he has joined us, and hopefully he can apply for the fellowship.
Yeah.
We have Lipoi. Okay, all right. So we have our confirmation that we are live, we are audible, and we are visible. So we are going to get started with our interview. I have the first question for you, Tato. Let me remove the title of the interview and then show the first question. So the first question that I have for you is, can you briefly introduce yourself and your journey into education and sustainability?
Okay. Thank you very much, Bokamoso, for having me in your YouTube channel. I'm really grateful. Like Bokamoso has already said, my name is Tato Majola and I'm from Botswana. And I'm currently pursuing a PhD in Sustainable Development in Amrita University in India. And it's a fellowship that is funded by the Education for Life International Fellowship, or E4LIFE. I'll say that I'm really excited for this opportunity, and I believe that the insights that I'm going to give you guys, you're going to use them to apply for this fellowship or any other scholarship that you might be interested in. Let's go back to my journey into education and sustainability. I did my undergraduate degree in University of Botswana, specializing in adult education or life level learning and community development. And then from there, I went on to work as a community engagement officer for an organization called Kalahari Research and Conservation, where I used to take research findings into communities to teach them about conservation issues and issues of human wildlife conflict. And then while I was still working there, I got interested in doing my master's. That's when I enrolled for my master's in education. But this time around, I was specializing in environmental education, looking into non-formal conservation education programs. So my main interest has always been about community-based research or community education, especially for communities which are underprivileged, especially for communities where we find that there are low literacy rates, especially for communities where we see that a lot of people drop out from school, or some don't even have access to our formal education system. So that is where I started my passion about education or non-formal education. And then I got interested in education for sustainability. How can we use education for sustainable development, looking at our SDGs?
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for that comprehensive introduction. You have quite a rich background, and from what I'm hearing, you have done a good job. You have done well with the work that you have done in your community. I forgot to mention something. Please let me know when I should move the slides, because I'm not sure
Okay.
when I should move the slides.
Okay, you can move the slides.
Okay, I
Go
can
to the
move the
next
slide.
slide.
All
Okay.
right. I think we can move
Okay.
on to the next question. Unless you have questions about her background, please, if you think of something, do let us know in the comments. The second question is, what inspired you to pursue a PhD, and why was the E4LIFE Fellowship the right opportunity for you?
Okay. I think I should start with how I discovered the E4LIFE Fellowship. When I was doing my final semester for my masters, my supervisor went to some conference, and then at that conference she met with other professors from Amrita University, and then they told her about the fellowship, and then told her that if there's any student that she knows who might be interested in applying, they should forward the application link. They should try their luck. And then she gave me that information. I'll forever be grateful for her for giving me that information. That's how I knew about the E4LIFE Fellowship. As to how did I, or what inspired me to pursue a PhD? When I was doing my undergraduate, I got admitted to the Okavango Research Institute, where I had to learn introduction to wetlands research. That's where my passion for research actually started, and that's where I knew that I wanted to go into academia and I wanted to go into research. That is when, after I finished my undergraduate, the only job that I wanted was a research-based job, and I applied for a post at Kalahari Research and Conservation. So that actually also helped me to pursue my dream to have a PhD, even though it took longer than I had anticipated. But at the end of the day, I managed to start my PhD.
Okay.
After my supervisor told me about the fellowship, I went through the website, checked what they needed, and as I was going through the website, I noticed that this is a special program. It's not like any other typical PhD program, mostly because it had the component of living labs model, where you actually go and live in rural villages in India, and then you co-create solutions with the communities. That's when I knew this is what I wanted and this is what I want to pursue, looking at my passion and my work experience with rural communities.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
I just want to add to what you said. You discovered this opportunity through your supervisor, who then
Yes.
forwarded the link to you, and then you checked the requirements and applied for the opportunity. I just want to tell our audience that these opportunities come in unconventional ways. There are
Yes.
many different ways that you can come across opportunities. You just have to always stay alert and also
Yes.
use your connections to find opportunities. I honestly, I didn't know about the E4LIFE Fellowship until Tato told me about it. I didn't know about the fellowship. It was
Yeah.
my first time learning about the fellowship, and I thought it was important that we do this interview so that we can bring awareness about the fellowship, and you also can get the opportunity to apply. And who knows, you might be you might also be selected for the fellowship. And
Yes. And
just
also,
prior to okay, please go ahead.
no, I just wanted to say that, and also adding on to that is that you need to be in touch with all of your referees or your supervisors if you are still currently in school, because in most cases they know these opportunities. They go to conferences and network with the people who have these opportunities, so they can always pass you these opportunities or put in a good word for you sometimes. And also your supervisor or your referees, they need to be in a position to know who you are and what you aspire for, because in this case my supervisor knew that I'm passionate about community-based research, especially a program that can be able to help me learn how to solve community problems in relation to education and sustainability. Hello, Boka. Bokamos, are we still live? Oh, I think it kicked her out. We should wait for her.
Hello. Hello.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. My network just blacked out. And this is the first time this has happened. I was not sure whether the live stream will be ended, so I'm glad we are back.
Yeah, we just waited for you here.
Yeah, please wait. If this happens again, please wait. I've switched to my mobile internet because I think the
Okay.
Wi-Fi, the router is a bit far, so I'll be using my mobile. Apologies for
All
that.
right.
I'm gonna move to the next question. I think I disappeared when you were talking about something about being connected to your referees.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Would you like to continue, or that's fine?
No, it's okay. I think I
It's
said
okay.
whatever I wanted to say.
Oh,
Just that you were
okay.
not with us.
Yeah, sorry for that. Okay,
It's okay.
so the next question is, how did you no, I think we have addressed this. You
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
discovered you discovered it through your supervisor. You already covered this. Let's go to the next one. So what was your initial reaction when you saw the requirements? Did you feel you were ready to apply?
Well, at that point in time, let's note that I had just submitted my final dissertation to the examiners. So it was still in the process of being marked and all that. So it's not like I had completely finished my master's. But I was like, let me just try it out. You might never know what the future holds in terms of this application. So I was not sure I was going to get it because I didn't have my master's certificate. I only had an incomplete transcript which showed my courseworks and the fact that I'm doing my dissertation.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's very interesting because most of these scholarships they require you to have a complete transcript
Yeah.
and your certificate. So I think you were fortunate to have
Yeah.
been able to apply without the complete document and be selected.
Yes. The
It
only thing that I had to request from my university was a letter that I've finished and my dissertation is with the examiners. So
okay.
yes, that letter had to be there so that they know that I'm almost complete with my master's.
Okay, okay. That
Yeah.
that clarifies everything because earlier what you said it was contradicting the norm. I think it was going to
Yeah.
confuse our audience. They would probably think I'm a liar. They would say, "But you said but you said I need complete documents to apply." Well,
Yeah.
she didn't have her full transcript and her certificate, but
Yeah.
she had a letter from her university stating that she has completed her master's and they are still assessing her dissertation. But I think it also
Mm.
depends on the scholarship. I don't think it's
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
I don't think it is the same process or the same situation with
Yeah.
other opportunities. Okay, there is a question here. I'm gonna display the question. During your application, did you only apply to one school or is there a number of them on the website? Also have your expectations been met so far in terms of the quality of education you are getting?
Well, because this fellowship is only offered by this university, so I applied for this university, and it's only for this program, the PhD in
Oh,
Sustainable Development only. So that's where you find the E4LIFE scholarship. So that's the only one that I applied for. And then, as for have my expectations been met so far in terms of the quality of education, I would love to say that I'm getting the best. I'm getting land, like as compared to my masters. Currently, I'm doing my courseworks. And because I'm into it's sustainable development, they're introducing new concepts, concepts like data modeling. It's something that is totally new to me. GIS, it's totally new to me as I'm coming from a strictly education background. So I'm learning new things that I've never really learned because I'm going to need these courseworks as I'll be going to the field next year. So I would say
okay.
that I'm really getting the best.
Okay, okay. Thank you for addressing that question. One thing
Yeah.
to emphasize that she said, she mentioned that the fellowship is only for one university. So she
Yeah.
applied for only one university and also it covers only one program,
Yes.
the sustainability program. So that's one important piece of information that you
Yes.
need to pay attention to.
And
There's an
also, one last thing that I would add on is that it's an interdisciplinary program. So anyone coming from any background, they can actually apply for this program and get admitted. Because
Hmm.
I think I'm one of the first people from education to get an admission and win the fellowship for this program. Most of the people are coming from the environmental sciences, your mathematics, your health sciences, and your environmental sciences. So any background, as long as you can justify how you align your background with sustainable development goals, then you are good to go.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that as well. I'm sure maybe someone was about to leave our live session and say, "Okay, I'm not interested." But this
Yeah.
is an interdisciplinary program, so if you are coming
Yes.
from a different background than sustainability, you also can apply. I went back to the first slide to address the question here. What's the name of your university again? I missed that part.
Yes. Okay.
Um, could you please pronounce your university? I'm not
The
sure.
university is Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham.
Okay,
Yes,
Amrita Vishwa
Vishwa
Vida Pitram.
Vidyapeetham.
All
Yes.
right. Okay.
So maybe it's
Uh,
best they can go back to the slide so that they can copy and paste it, and because it's an Indian
uh,
name.
Unfortunately, the slides they will not be able to access. They will not be able to copy and paste. I'm gonna type it here.
Okay, okay.
V There's
A,
Vidyapeetham. Okay, I'll
yes.
display the name of the university on the screen. Please take notes. I
Okay.
think we addressed that question. We exhausted that question. I'm gonna move on to the next question. Take a
Yes,
screenshot
and
of the name of the university because I'm gonna move to the next question.
then go to
Uh,
the next slide, please.
all right. Okay. Next slide. Next question. Let's see what our next question is. Okay. Can you please
Yeah.
take us through the application process step by step?
Okay. The process was really comprehensive, which I actually appreciated because it made me reflect deeply about my goals and what I wanted from a PhD program. I would say that it involved having to have a very good CV. So I submitted my CV, which had my qualifications and also my 7 years community field experience. I would love to highlight that either it's volunteerism or was a part-time job or a contract or a full-time, that experience is really important, but not meaning that if you are fresh from school they will not admit you. They're going to admit you because they're also looking into your passion, and what your future goals are, because you're going to go to rural villages in India and they wouldn't want someone who would get admitted and then when they get there they don't like the lifestyle, they want to go back home because they're not used to rural villages. I would say that I also had to write a personal statement, um, which actually talked about I would say my experience, my work experience, and my passion, and where I come from and where I want to go in terms of the use of my PhD when I'm done. And also they needed two references, both of which two of them were academic. I also added an extra work reference. So it's also very important that you notify your referees that you are applying for this fellowship, because if they contact them and your referees deny ever having, because in most cases our referees really need to know what are we applying for and where, so that when they're asked questions about us they can be able to answer with looking at the fellowship or whatever you have applied for. So I had to notify both of my referees and they were really happy to write my references and they were ready to be called and be asked questions about me. One other thing, and which is very important in the application process, was the research proposal. I had to write a research proposal that aligned with one of the sustainable development goals and also that aligned with the kind of research that I want to carry out in the community and the kind of problem that I think I might solve in that community, looking at my background and what I want to study. So, for instance, I'm just going to give a random example, not that I wrote that, because I'm interested in community education and non-formal education. You have to like write that. You are looking at SDG number 4, which is quality education. And then you look at the indicators, which indicator talks about lifelong learning, and then you add that, and then you tell them how are you going to help, let's say, if you were to work in a illiterate or a low literacy rate community in India, what kind of solutions are you going to come up with to help the people gain literacy or to increase the literacy level? So your proposal also has to be very strong so that they can see that you are one person who would go and work in communities and co-create solutions with community members. Um, and then one other thing that I had, which was an advantage, was that I had published a book chapter during my master's. So they wanted to see if at all I can write academic papers, because this PhD involves you having to publish a lot of papers for you to graduate. So they needed someone who has a little bit background in writing academic papers and publishing. So I had published with Springer Nature a book chapter as a first author that really, really helped. And also they had wanted me to attach my master's dissertation. So I had to attach that too so that they can see if at all I'm good at academic writing. So I would encourage people who want to apply for this program to take a master's with dissertation route instead of a master's with coursework only or master's with research essay, because they want people who have done a dissertation. So, and then after I submitted this application, I waited for 2 months, and then I got an email for an interview. I had to prepare for an interview, and the preparation included that I had to go through the university website and then choose a panel of people that I would want to be in my interview, looking at my background. So I had to look at it and look at which professors in that universities are doing work on education, specifically non-formal education, adult education, or any other education. And then I emailed them back with that information, and then they set up my admission committee. And then I had to prepare a proposal that I can present to them. And then during the interview, I had a panel of, I think, 6 professors from different backgrounds. Okay, at first I thought I'm going to get my education people only. So I was so excited, saying, no, I picked the right people, only to find out during the interview that I had someone from data science. I had someone from the business background. I had an engineer, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a tough one. And then I also had someone from the health sciences. So basically, what happens is that when they select students for interviews, different professors will be looking at the CVs of the applicant, and then if they're interested in your background, they go to your interview so that they can see if they can be your potential supervisor or your potential guide, as they call it. So I had those kind of people for my interview. I did the interview online, and it took about an hour, and then I was done with the interview, and then I was told that I'll get feedback in 2 weeks time. That was in July last year. And then a month passed without the feedback. And then yeah, August passed, and then beginning of September I got the feedback. Congratulations, you've been nominated for the E4LIFE Fellowship. This is your offer letter, and then the terms and conditions of the fellowship, and I had to accept. And one other thing is that we had to start classes in November, but I got the offer around August, September. Yes. So I was told that I have to accept within 7 working days. And at that time I was working. So I had to inform my employer that I think our relationship will have to pause a little bit until further notice, because I've gotten the
The
fellowship.
fellowship.
Uh,
Okay.
Yes, the good part about it is that after I've gotten the fellowship and I signed and accepted the fellowship, classes were visual from November up until December. So we only expected to be on campus in January. So that also helped me to weigh if I really want to relocate for this program if it is the right program for me. So that 2 months really helped.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's a very comprehensive, and it sounds like a rigorous application process that you
Yes.
went through. I'm going
Yes.
to summarize what you said. If I missed something, you can correct me. The first thing that you mentioned was that there are some important documents that are needed for the application. For example, you need a very good CV. You also
Yes.
need to have experience with community field or community service, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if you are fresh from school, you cannot apply. They assess you as a well-rounded individual as a whole. So you just have to
Yeah.
demonstrate a passion for community, and also your goals should align with community development. Is that correct? And
Community work,
then
I would say community
community,
development.
yeah,
Yeah.
community, yeah. And then there's also a personal statement. You wrote a personal statement. You also need
Yes.
2 references. You submitted academic, and then you added a bonus work
Yeah. Yeah.
reference. But one important thing that you also raised was that applicants should inform their referees. I think this
Yes.
is one of
Yes.
the mistakes that applicants make. You just write the name of a person, and you have not notified that person that you have
Yes.
indicated their name as your referees. Like in my case, somebody from Facebook. I have never worked with the person. They don't have a profile picture. I don't even know how
Mhm.
they look like. They sent my name to a university to say I am their study abroad consultant, and I was not in a position to vouch for them or to vouch for their abilities because I've never met them. You cannot just pick a random stranger and then you submit their
Yes.
name without prior agreement. So please notify your referees uh,
Yes.
before you can add their names in your application, because that can also backfire if somebody decides, I don't know this person, I've never worked with this person,
Mm.
I don't know anything about their abilities. That can significantly impact your application. And
Yeah.
then you wrote a research proposal. You have to write a good research proposal that aligns with the SDGs. You select one
Mm-hmm.
and then you write about it. There's also an issue of academic writing. You have to demonstrate academic writing. She published a book chapter. They also requested her to submit her dissertation because they want to see if
Yes.
if you have the qualities for academic writing, right?
Yes.
There's something that I wanted to ask regarding the interview. You mentioned that you had to choose your professors, choose a panel,
Yes.
and then you had a variety of a panel, and then you had to prepare a proposal presentation. Was the
Yes.
proposal presentation different from the research proposal that you submitted?
No, it wasn't different because there was no how I can make it different because uh, the people who came for or the panel for the interview read my research proposal, so they just wanted to know how much do I know about my proposal, do I own it, is it mine? So if I changed it, then it would mean that my whole my whole application was totally I would say a lie. I would say that. So I didn't
Oh,
change anything, I just put the proposal into a PowerPoint presentation and got ready.
okay. I think I didn't ask the question well.
Oh,
Maybe I
okay.
should rephrase. Yeah, that's the clarity I was
Mhm.
looking for. That
Okay.
did you turn your research proposal into a presentation, not that you entirely changed
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
presentation. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still there? Uh, do you have any questions for Tato on the application process? I think this is a very crucial um step. This is a
Yeah.
crucial moment of our interview. This is your chance to get your questions answered about the application process. Do you have any questions so far regarding what she has shared? I think she did well. She really went all in. She explained in details her application process, what she went through, the documents that she prepared. If you think of a question, please do let us know. Just drop it in the comments section and I'll show the question to her. I'm gonna move on to the next question. What part of the application did you find most challenging?
Okay. I would say that the writing of the research proposal. It was really challenging because I had to read a lot of literature, and like I've already stated that this is an interdisciplinary program, so I had to see how I align education, specifically non-formal education, with community development for sustainability or for sustainable education. So I had to read a lot of literature, and that really took a toll on me. That was the most challenging part of my application process, and it took time. And then I would say that I had to give it to a few people to review it. Some of them are already doing their PhDs, even though it's in different fields. I also had to give it to my two supervisors, my master's supervisors, to review it and see that if it meets the requirement for a PhD program. That really also helped. The feedback that I got from them, I had to incorporate it and correct, and that's when I ended up sending it. Apart from that, I would say that everything else was okay. And one other thing is that when I started the application process, mind you, I did not have a completion letter from my university. So at some point in time, the Amrita University requested the completion letter, and luckily by then my university had already completed everything, and I already had my my completion letter, so I had to resend it. So now and then, if they need anything, they would email and say we need this. So the only challenging part that I had was the research proposal. Other than that, everything else was manageable.
Okay, okay. And it's good that you got a review from different people. It's important to get a second opinion or a third opinion to get feedback on your application documents, especially if you are not sure. If you are not sure whether you have written a good enough research proposal or your CV or personal statement, it's always helpful to get somebody to review, to read the proposal and give you feedback, because they will give you a different perspective. They might
Yes,
not see uh, things the way you see them. I always say, if possible, you can find someone outside your field
yes,
to review your research proposal, so that it will help you to tell whether a lay person or whether a normal person who is outside your field, would they understand your research, would they understand what you are trying to research on. If they don't understand, then there's probably something wrong, or there's
yes,
probably something that you need to work on your research proposal.
yes.
It's quiet in the comments. I don't know if they went for Easter. Uh, it is,
Yeah.
or they are scared. The application process was a bit scary, so now they are silent. They are not sure whether they can do
No,
it.
but it was not that scary.
No, I'm saying, maybe as you explained your
Yeah.
journey, they got cold feet. We don't get cold feet in scholarship applications. Please let us know if you are still there. Even if, okay, there's a question: is this a fully funded opportunity?
Yes, okay. Um, this is a fully funded scholarship. Can you go to the next slide, please? I
Okay.
think there's information on that. No, okay. This is a fully funded fellowship. It covers your tuition fees. It covers your stipend, your allowance.
Mm-hmm.
They also cover your research funds. Like I said, that you have to spend at least a year in one of India's rural villages. So all the expenses that you're going to inquire in that village, it covers it. And also it covers your publication fees in case you have to publish your journal papers or your academic work. It also
Nice.
covers yeah, it also covers the community solution. So as you'll be going to the villages to co-create solutions with community members, when you have agreed about the solution that you need and it needs funding, they cover that, and then you
Mm,
implement your solution. Yes, so the only thing that the scholarship does not cover is the flight ticket to India and then your visa application fees. And I believe that maybe it's just a way of them saying, let's see how serious you want this thing. I don't know.
okay.
I won't speak on their behalf, but those
Yeah,
are the
yeah,
only things
yeah.
that they don't cover.
Okay, okay. That's
Yes. Oh, and one other thing also, even though they don't cover those things, because we had started school in November and then I relocated in January, my stipend was paid in arrears. I think those arrears basically covered my flight ticket and my visa.
okay. Yeah, it the areas usually do cover the
Yeah,
expenses that you incurred.
yeah.
Okay, so what do you think made your application stand out?
Okay, to be honest, my work experience, my community service. And
Mm-hmm.
also the fact that I published a book chapter and also my master's dissertation. But the most important thing that I think really, because during the interview, the only thing that they were interested in was my work experience,
Mm-hmm.
how I managed to survive rural areas in Botswana while I was working in rural areas, because I used to work in the Okavango, yo Budigwa, yo Behetsa and Eretsa. So they asked me, how did you survive that? How are the communities? What would you do if you encountered people who do not speak the same language as yours? So I would give them example that people in the Okavango, most of them do not speak Setswana, but they speak other tribal languages. So
Languages.
I had to learn those languages in order to communicate with them. So in most cases, they are looking at your work experience, whether you have experience in working with communities, and then a little bit of the academic part, and then that's it.
Okay. Did you say the fellowship is for PhD only?
Well, the fellowship it's for PhD, but recently they're thinking of starting a master's in sustainability, but it won't be funded by the E4LIFE Fellowship. I think they're going to give it a partial sponsorship or scholarship, where probably they waive your tuition fee and then you sort out the rest in terms of expenses. If that comes out, I'll let Bokamoso know and give her the advert so that those who are interested in apply, because it's a new program, Masters in Sustainability, those who are interested can apply.
Okay, okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Um, I'm gonna move on to the next question. So, what are the lessons you learned during the application process?
Okay. The lessons that I've learned through the application process is that it's never an easy route. It always has its up and downs. Like you're never going to like get it at instantly, and it's an easy process. The process is really tedious, it's exhausting, even psychologically and emotionally. Sometimes you get tired, sometimes you just want to give up along the way, where you like you register and then you start the process, and then along the way you just feel like they're requiring a lot of things, I don't have time for this. So the lesson that I've learned throughout this process is that it's a long tedious process, which is actually worth it. So the moment you understand the worth of the program, that's when you would understand that this is a process, it has to be done. So that's those are the lessons that I've learned. And then one thing also that I've learned is that when you're applying for a PhD, either scholarship or fellowship, like I've already stated, you need to be in touch with your referees, because 90% of the time they're being called. So imagine your referees being called so that they can attest for your academic writing. and then they're not even sure if you are good at it. And then the poor person would be trying to put in a good word for you, but then it's not happening, and they're really trying. So obviously the panel would see that these results are cooked. So that is really that is one thing that I've learned, because at first I didn't think they actually call our referees. But the moment my referees gave me feedback that the fellowship hold, I was like, what? It was a first experience. So that's another thing that I've learned. And also, one most important thing again is that your work experience, either volunteerism, either part time, it really matters when you're applying for fellowships. Because in most cases, the fellowships, they really want to know the kind of person that you are. You're saying that you want a fellowship for education for life. What have you been doing in terms of education for community development? What have you been doing? Are you do you volunteer, or you're just sitting home saying that I'm waiting for a job, I'm looking for a job, and those kind of things? That's one thing that I've also noticed, that you need to volunteer if you are not yet working, to so that you can boost your CV or your profile.
Okay, okay. I think it brings us to the next question. That is why I displayed it. What advice
Yeah.
would you give to someone currently preparing their E4Life application?
Um, like I said, that the E4Life Fellowship, at some point in time, you're going to live in rural villages in India. First of all, ask yourself, do you really want to go and live a year in a rural village in India with people who do not speak the same language as you, with people who are underserved? Most of them, it's people who have, I would say, who are poor, who are trying to make ends meet. People, some of them are disabled, people from different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, I wanted to say, of which some people, there are a lot of issues of gender inequalities. Are you for community development? Would you go into community and say that I want to solve their water scarcity problem? That's if you're coming from the probably the water and environmental science background, and you find that they drink water which is not good for their health. Can you solve that problem? Are you that kind of person? That's what the E4Life Fellowship is looking for someone who wants to improve people's livelihoods in rural villages. So I would advise you that you align your application with your passion for community development or improving people's livelihoods, especially the underserved communities. Um, and also, one other advice that I would give is that show that you are passionate about the cause of your of your passion. If at all you are passionate about science, how can you use your science to improve people's livelihoods? Ensure that you're actually passionate about it, not that you did science because maybe you were forced to do it and all those things. How do you think science can solve community problems? So yeah, that's another advice that I can give. And make sure that the issue of the referees and also your proposal, make sure that it stands out. uh, if you are not volunteering currently and you are not working, at least take this time tomorrow, go and volunteer and say you started volunteerism. And it's just something to show that you are really passionate about your background and what you do.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
okay.
that's about it.
So go and start as soon as possible. If you're not volunteering or if you're not working, go find an
Yeah,
opportunity and be part of that. There's a question
yeah.
here. Do you know if following the completion of your PhD, you will get work opportunities in India, Botswana, or anywhere in the world? Kindly speak on opportunities after the completion of your studies.
Okay. As for me, I personally, after completing my studies, I have two goals, of which I don't know which one of them will materialize. I'm not interested in staying in India for work. So that one I should be clear about. I want to go back home. I want to go back home so that I can implement what I learned back at home. I want to, it's either I go into academia or I start my own NGO. so that I can serve my community, because my passion has always been serving my community, especially serving people, like I've already stated, serving people who have never really gotten an opportunity to go into a classroom and learn 1+1 like me and you. So I want to start an NGO that can give educational opportunities to our girls in rural villages who have dropped out due to a lot of socio-ecological and sometimes cultural issues, to our young boys in communities. Some of them had to like drop out of school so that they can look for jobs and fend for their families, or to our elders at home who cannot even read and write. They cannot even read uh, a prescription from a clinic. So I think I'm into NGO work and a little bit of academia if an opportunity arises. As for staying and working in India, I it's not part of my future plans, because I'm passionate about uplifting the livelihoods of my communities back home. And it's one of the main reason why I actually chose this fellowship, because it teaches me to go into villages and live with the community, understand their problem on daily basis. After understanding their problem, we co-create a solution together, and then we implement the solution, and then later we can evaluate whether it has worked or not. If it didn't work, we re-evaluate, recreate the another solution that can actually work for those people. So I hope I've answered you, Sabatan.
My,
Bokamoso, you, oh, okay.
yeah, I was muted. Sorry, I was saying I can feel your passion, even
Yeah.
when you speak. You really have a passion for communities, and I'm just glad that you found a perfect opportunity that will help you to develop the necessary skills and experience that you need to give back to your community. And I hope you can start that NGO.
Yes, I will. I've already started some things, and I've also recently wrote a book on hygiene. For I specifically wrote that for the Bazezuru children who cannot read and write, who are in the ages between 4.5 up to 9 years old, on how to do the basic hygiene. How do you wash your hands? What do you do? How do you do it? So I think that's just what I'm passionate about.
Okay, that's very interesting. We are done with the application process. Unless you have a question on that, please drop them in the comments, and I'll show Tato she can respond to the comments. I'm gonna move to her adjustment in India, her settling in India. What has been the biggest adjustment so far? Culture, food, environment?
Okay. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Okay,
Uh, Another one.
all
I
right.
think we covered most of the. Uh,
Yeah.
okay. I think this is the one. Okay. First of all, I'll talk about the environment. I'm currently in the south of India, in Kerala, specifically Kollam. It's very hot and humid.
Okay.
And I come from a country where it's actually hot and dry. So the temperature adjustment was totally bad. Like I would get out of my room at 8 o'clock. By the time I'm in class, I'm sweating like hell. I'm dripping because of the humidity. But that one, I don't think it's going to be solved by anything. I'm still, even right now, I'm in my room. It's like almost 8 to 11 p.m. at night. I'm still sweating. And then one other thing is the food, the hot, spicy food. So food this side is hot, it's spicy, and most of the time, people around here that are vegans. So most of the meals in the university cafeteria, it's vegetarian meals. So I'm not used to that. You know that as Africans we love our meat,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yes, and one other thing also is that we as in terms of meat, if I were to cook in my room, because I live in a self-contained apartment that we have been given by the university, I
Okay.
can only cook chicken. I
Mm.
cannot do beef because cows here are sacred. So
Yeah,
their
yeah.
beef, it's a buffalo.
Hey.
So so there's no beef here. Sometimes I miss the beef. When I got here, I was like, I'm missing beef. They were like, oh, but there's
Eh,
beef. I'm like, okay, beef isn't like a cow. No, no cow. Cows are sacred. We don't kill cows here. So yeah, and apart from that, yeah, the good thing is that we cook for ourselves. So there's an alternative for pap because I come from Botswana
Ooh.
and pap. So there's
Yeah,
yeah, there's
yeah.
an Indian pap, and then
Okay.
there is also an alternative for our sorghum.
Is it good? Sorry, the Indian pub, is it good?
It's edible. It's edible. As long as
Mm.
it's yeah, the taste is there. We're trying.
Okay,
Yeah, and the Eden sorghum, and then the rice, obviously, the basmati and all different kinds of rices, and then
okay.
the languages. People in Kerala actually don't speak Hindi, but they speak a certain language called Malayalam. So a few of them speak Hindi, but then it would be those who are from the north of India. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then the English accent is actually different from ours. They have a very different accent, a deeper accent than ours. So it was really a struggle, and it's still a struggle for me sometimes during lessons to hear
To
my
understand.
voices. Yes. So I lip read even some
Ah,
of my classmates, because they are Indians, communicating with them, it can
it's
become a
a
little bit of a
bit
problem.
challenging.
And
Okay.
it's not only on my side; they are also having a problem with my accent. So they would say that I speak fast. I need to slow down so that they can actually
Understand
read
what
my
you're saying.
lips. Yes. So the language issue is it's a barrier. But I'm currently trying to learn Malayalam, of
Okay.
which maybe someone would say, does the program offer you an opportunity to learn the local language? The program does not offer that opportunity because in India there are a lot of local languages. So for instance, as I'm saying, I'm in Kerala and they speak Malayalam. I might be posted in a village in north of India where they speak Hindi, and then I would have learned Malayalam, or somewhere else where they speak in Tamil they speak another language also, and then there are also tribal languages. So it's really not it wouldn't be effective to teach us 20 languages because in
Yeah.
each region they are being taught in their own native language. Say
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And also another culture shock is the is the clothing. This side they're really religious, so you have to cover
You
everything,
have to
your
cover
hands and
yourself.
yes, and your legs. When you're wearing a dress, whether it's long or short, you put on some leggings underneath. So a woman has to wear that leggings underneath. If you're wearing your
So
jeans or your pants,
wait, let me interrupt. Are you speaking about yourself, that is it applicable to everyone, or you mean the locals?
it's applicable to even including me in my university. I cannot go to school wearing a dress without leggings underneath. And then I cannot go to the university putting on, let me say, our natural skinny jeans.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to wear
yeah.
skinny jean and then I wear a longer top that covers up to at least the knees so that
Yes.
it covers everything. So the area that and even the university, it's a conservative university, it's a Hindu university. So they are very religious. So that's one
Okay.
other thing. So I had to
Okay.
adjust to that
To
also.
that. Okay.
To
Okay.
that.
Because
But it's so okay, I wanted to say that it's so exciting because everyone else is wears the same thing. So yeah.
okay. Because you mentioned that it's very hot, so I was thinking,
Mhm. Yes. Even though it's very hot, you wear your leggings, you cover, you wear your pants, you cover.
you
So this
cannot wear shorts to campus.
no, that one you can't. People will be staring at you as if you've done something bad. You can not pants, please. At least maybe your jeans, but then again, they should not be too tight.
Mm,
You will not even feel comfortable.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So what helped you settle in faster as a new international student?
Okay. After I got the fellowship, I was assigned a supervisor. This side they call them guides. So what
Mm-hmm.
I that your supervisor is the one who is responsible. He's your guardian in India.
Okay.
That's how they do it. Even my student ID will have his name and his
Mm,
contact as my
okay.
as my guardian. If I move out of the region that I'm in and go to a different region, I have to notify my guardian. He's basically like my parents, just that my parents are not here. I would say
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So my supervisor helped me to get in contact with one of the Zimbabwean students because I was from Botswana. I told him that Botswana is neighboring to Zimbabwe, South Africa, and maybe they're like, "Oh, we have a few Zimbabwean students here. I'll give you a number of this other lady. She's a Zimbabwean. Can talk to her." That lady really helped. Even prepare. I came here with clothes that I fit for this environment because that lady prepared me. She was like, "Tata, we are not in Botswana. We are not in Gaborone. So leave your other things in Gaborone and then stick to this." And then one other thing also, she had said I should pack my local food so that as I adjust to the new foods, at least I have something to eat.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And yeah, so that also helped, really helped me to adjust because when I got here, the Africans were really nice. They were waiting for me because I found Zimbabweans, Zambians,
Mm-hmm.
and also those are closer to home. And also we have Gambians and some from Ghana and some from Nigeria. So they are the ones who really made my adjustment in Amriti much better. They were very accommodative. We have a very close knit community of international students from Africa. So
Okay.
I think that really helped.
So you basically have a strong support system.
Yes, I have a strong support system, mostly from
Okay.
my Zimbabwean brothers and my Zambian brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have one last question. I don't know if there are any other questions in the comments or chats. Maybe there's a comment or question that you want to pose to Tato. This is your final moment because I'm going to ask her the last question and then I'll be closing the session. Tato, just to to confirm, did we go through all this the slides, or is there a slide that I missed?
I think it's okay because I think we
Is it
covered everything through the conversations.
okay? Okay, yeah, we did. I noticed that. That's why I skipped some of the questions
Yeah.
because I saw that we were able to blend them in. So, how has this opportunity changed your perspective? There's a last question. I don't know. There are more slides. Okay.
You know,
How
that's
has That's fine. Okay. How has this opportunity changed your perspective so far?
I'd say this opportunity has really broadened my even my future career plans. Because I didn't know that there is such a program that incorporates going to the villages. Because you know a typical PhD program is like you do you read literature, do your problem statement, and then go collect data, analyze data, and publish. But this one is like it's a PhD with two components, where you do the academic work and also solve a community problem. So it has really changed my perspective in the sense that when I plan my research work and even going to the villages, I also look at my career aspirations. I look at
Mhm.
where I want to go. What do I really want to do with this PhD? And then I align it. So I believe that by the end of this PhD, I wouldn't even be having. I don't know, maybe it's a belief. Let's come back here like 3 years after I completed. I believe that I would not struggle to earn a living either through getting a job or through getting a starting my own NGO, because the program on its own, it opens you to new things. Like I've stated already, we I'm doing courses in data analysis. I'm using softwares that I've never used before, and then I'm like, wow, how can I implement this in my life? I can always have like side hustles where I do data analysis for companies, for organizations.
Yeah.
I've learned GIS. I'm currently a pro in QGIS. Give me a location, I'll do your map. I'll analyze your data using QGIS. It's something that I've learned through this program. So I would say that it really changed a lot in how I see my future and my perspective about community development and how actually uh, communities are supposed to be helped in terms of their needs. That in the sense that this program believes that the community members know their problems well, they understand it well, and basically they are the only people who understand how they want their solutions to be done. So it actually takes us from the top down approach where in most cases community members are given programs that they don't really need, and then they end up failing, to the bottom up approach where we see community members co-designing their own solutions to their own problems because they understand the problems better.
Okay. Okay. There was a question about the length of your PhD program. How
Okay,
long is it?
this PhD program is 3 to 4 years. So basically,
Mm.
it's 3 years, possible for extension up to 1 year, which is 4 years. The reason why they say 3 to 4 years is because in that 3 to 4 years, you're going to have like two publications in Q1 journals, one as a first author and at least one as a second author. And also you have to have a conference paper published in a Scoopers Q1 journal also. So that is very intensive. On
Yeah.
top of that, you're going to have to go to a village for at least a year. You can go to a village and then the next thing you thinking like I'm from the education background and then I'm being assigned a village. When I got to the village, I noticed that there is no education problem in that village, and then they would be telling me that our problem is basically human wildlife conflict. So now I have to be in a position to redesign my thoughts and try to see how I can probably use education to curb human wildlife conflict. So it's total different thing. So it takes time for you to be
Yeah.
able to do all of those things and finish. So they gave you 3 years. 1 year it's coursework, 1 year community service, and probably the third year will be the one where you'll be writing your dissertation and defending everything else. There's no how you can graduate without a community solution. That one won't work. And there's no how you can graduate without fulfilling the academic part of the program. So I would say that it's a good combination. By the time you are done with this PhD, you have publications. You know that some people graduate their PhDs without
Without
publications.
publications. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Publications are also a requirement for my PhD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any final words, Tato?
I think the only final words that I can give anyone who's interested in applying for the E4LIFE Fellowship is that they should go into the university website so that they can understand the Living Labs model, which is the core mandate of the program. And then also, I would advise people to not fear relocating to India. I know that a lot of times we want to go to the UK, to Canada, or maybe to France,
To
but
USA?
if
Yeah.
to USA, yes, I would say that don't fear moving to India. There are actually sides of India where everything is just cool. Like where I am currently, it's one of the best places. I wouldn't even think at any day that I'm in India. The communities love foreigners. They're always saying hi. The kids would be like, hi, hi, hi. So it's always exciting. And also be open to living in rural India villages and embrace it. Just take it as you in your rural community living with people who do not have the same opportunity as you. Um So that's the advice that I can give, and also that you need to be authentic when you are applying for this fellowship, because if you are not authentic, you are going to drop out of the program. Because if you miss passion for this program, it's going to be hard for you. Imagine living in a rural area in India with people who don't speak
Mhm.
English. There's no water in that village, and sometimes though there are no toilets. You know that in our countries we are used to toilets. It's just
Yeah.
open defecation areas. There are such areas in India, and you go there because you're not passionate, you're going to come back and drop out of the program and say, ah, this is not what I wanted. So it needs you to be passionate about community and rural development.
As,
And
as
one
okay, please continue.
Oh, yeah. One last thing also, like I've already said, get your supervisors or your referees involved from the start. Tell them that you are applying for opportunities so that they can be aware. And sometimes even email them the link to the opportunity so that they can read more about the opportunity. It gives them a chance to understand what you are applying for in case they get called for an interview. They'll be in a position to answer questions that are relevant instead of them just sitting here and then a call comes in. They don't even know you're applying to India. They've taught many tatos, and then someone is saying your student tato put you as a referee, and then they're remembering that I taught like 10 tatos in so many years. Which one is this? So let's try by all means to be close to our supervisors and our referees, because they really play a role. If your referee doesn't know you, it's a red flag for scholarship applications.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's all.
Um, okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. I just noticed that there's a question in the comments. Is your guide supportive and accommodative in terms of the challenges that you experience?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very important question. My guide likely has studied in the US. He has worked in Canada. He has worked where also? I think in the UK. So he has a lot of information about international students. So he's really accommodative. He understands us. He understands because I'm a Christian. He understands our religion. If there are certain things, because the university, like I said, it's a Hindu university. Sometimes there are certain things that religious things that are done in the university. He would ask, are you comfortable with attending this kind of event? And then if I'm comfortable, I'll say no, I don't mind, I can go. So he's very, very supportive. And also, according to the university's guidelines, our guides do not have a choice. They have to be supportive because they are basically our guardians in India. They have to answer all the questions about us. He needs to know where I am, what I do, at what time. He needs to be able to answer that. So there's no how he cannot be supportive of my stay here, especially that I would say, like I said, I'm lucky to have a guide who has studied abroad, who has worked abroad, so he understands international students. He always likes to say, I've been an international student before, so I really, really understand what you guys are going through. And also, one advantage is that his accent it's much
It's good.
better. So
Okay,
so that's an advantage on its own.
that's a plus.
It's a plus.
Um, any last questions or comments from the audience before we close the live session? Thank you so much, Tato. I know it's late, yeah,
Yeah.
where you are. I think it's 11 p.m. now or
Yeah,
11:30.
11 past 11
It's
p.m.
past 11 p.m. I just want to thank you for sacrificing your time or possibly sacrificing your sleep because it's late now to join this live session and share your experience and your application journey and process. I hope it has been helpful to you who is
Yeah.
watching this video because I learned a lot as she was explaining the program. I knew right away that this is not the program for me. I will, I will not, I cannot survive 1 year in the
You
village.
cannot survive it.
I knew, I knew right away that no, this is not for me.
This is not for me.
No, I don't have the heart and the passion for it. If this is not my program, guys, I cannot do this. So no.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. I just let me just check, and thank you, say Sabatana, for being so interactive, because I think basically it's only you who has been asking questions. Maybe others are still thinking about it. Maybe you are still
Yeah.
debating whether this is the right program for you, because it's quite intense.
Yeah,
The
it's an intense
application,
program.
yeah, the application process and the program itself, they sound so intense. I understand the silence, but like she said, don't be afraid. Just go for it. Go and apply. Sabatana says, thank you so much for the insights. Now I know better about the E4LIFE Fellowship, as they say in
Malayalam.
Malaya Nani. Okay,
Nani.
it's an India thing between Tato and Sabatana. I don't understand.
Nani Swatan.
Okay, thank you so much for to everyone who joined, and thank you, Sabatana, for always being interactive in my live sessions. He always attend my live sessions, and
Oh,
he's always interactive. Thank you for that. Tato, have a good night, and thank you for your time.
good night, Bukamoso. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I hope that my your viewers will be happy about this
I'm sure
interview,
they'll
and
be
they will learn
happy.
a lot from it.
Yeah.
And those who are interested, they can apply. And if there are any other question, you can just tell them to talk to
Oh,
me on LinkedIn or talk to you or something. I can
yeah.
also help them with the application if
Okay, I just forgot.
they
Is this a continuous application program, or there's a deadline?
there's a deadline, but
Mm-hmm.
currently the applications are open. Applications
Oh,
are open. I think they're going to close around June or so.
okay. Wow, there's still
Yes.
time. So please go
Yeah,
and
there's
apply.
still time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time. Please go and apply. She just mentioned that the fellowship is currently open for applications. And I wish you all the best with your applications. And for Tato, I wish you all the best with your PhD program.
Thank you, Boka.
Bye.
Bye bye.